Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Key Estate 6764 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit and says, Am I the arsehole here for refusing to give my brother 200k from our parents' inheritance after he got scammed? Throwaway. I, 34 male, recently inherited 400k from our parents' estate after they passed away. There was a slight delay on my part in receiving the said amount because of some legal complications. My brother, 31 male, received the same amount, but just after their death, he was swindled out of nearly all of his life savings by a shady investment scheme. Now, he's asking me to share 200k of my inheritance with him to help him get back on his feet. He argues that our parents would have wanted us to have equal financial standing, and that losing his money wasn't his fault. Yeah, right. And that he'd pay me back all later. I feel terrible for him, but I don't think it's fair to give up half my inheritance for a mistake he made, no matter how unfortunate. I've been working hard, budgeting, and planning to use this money for my family's future. If I give him half, it puts my own financial security at risk. My wife supports my decision, but some relatives think I'm being greedy and heartless, saying family comes first. Am I the arsehole here? Edit. And wow, this blew up. I didn't think I'd need online strangers to knock sense into me. Also, it's funny how quickly someone can go from calling every hour to a direct block. I called my brother and asked him what exactly happened, and told him I'd only give him the money if he told me the truth and only the truth. He told me he invested in a company called Aramco, obviously not the real one, to a sheik, and paid his deposit of 10,000 the first time, where he got back 20,000. Then he began scaling up and always got doubled until 100k. He got back 110k, then was emboldened and invested 300k and was guaranteed 600k. And the rest is history. He made a police report but had no evidence to share, as he withdrew in cash and dealt in cash itself, taking only token receipts which were fake. He kept the previously gotten amount in cash in his house. I only came to know how stupid someone can get. I told him his lack of basic common sense and greed does not constitute grounds for charity on my part, and told him to take better care of the remaining 100k. He cussed me out and told me I disappointed my parents. As for my relatives, I told them all in a group chat that I'd only match whatever they would pay to my brother, and even offered to double it. Since I was so greedy, I wanted to prove them wrong. Thanks to a legendary commenter who suggested that. I love you. I was cussed out there too. Lol. They're all blocked now. They told me the money got into my head. Sorry for not replying to the comments. I was really weakening in my resolve not to pay him, and you guys just snapped me back. Thank you. You all saved me. Absolutely not the arsehole in this situation. Your parents gave you equal amounts and then tries to manipulate you by saying your parents would be disappointed in you for not doing it, which is such a scummy thing to do, all because of his poor financial decisions. Magic Carpet says, friendly reminder that your brother was trying to scam you. He didn't lose 400k. He lost 300k, except before he lost 300k, he made at least 50k in profit on his investments. You didn't list all that he made, so it's very well possible that there were more successful doubling of money than just 10, 20, and a 10k profit from the 100k investment. That means your brother lost a maximum of 250k, yet asked you for 200k because your parents would have wanted you to be on equal grounds financially. Except at best, you'd have been left with 200k and him 350k. And very potentially, he would have walked away with close to the full 400k while you were left at a massive disadvantage. He was scamming you, and just hope you didn't notice or were bad at math. Don't hesitate to point it out if anyone comes at you, because he made a lot of money before he was scammed that he conveniently is forgetting about. Big Max says, not the arsehole, the only question to ask, when your brother was making this investment, did he call you up front and say, hey brother, I'm making an investment, and if it goes well, we're splitting the profits? Unless he did that, he has no leg to stand on when he says our parents would want us to have equal finances. And one more comment which says, not the arsehole. His financial situation, his decisions and investments have nothing to do with you. What he does or did with his money isn't your business or concern. He fucked around, he found out. Like someone else said, if he doubled his money, was he going to give you 200k? He did this to himself. Nobody put a gun to his head and made him do what he did. Keep your money. The relatives giving you a hard time aren't lining up to fund him, are they? It's easy for them when it's not their money. So OP came in with her update and said he called again. So after blocking my brother and pesky relatives and thinking the drama was over, he found another way to get to me. He called through my wife. Turns out things are even worse than he originally told me. The 100k he had left is all going towards paying off loans and a car he financed, so he's basically left with nothing. He finally admitted how desperate he is, apologized for not being fully honest earlier, and being a douche and cussing me out. He said he realizes he messed up big time. Greed got the better of him, and now he's asking for 50k instead of the 200k, promising to pay me back eventually. He even said he'd appreciate whatever help I could offer if I couldn't give the full amount. Yes, I asked him about the previous increments he received. Turns out he actually invested 350k. The desperation in his voice was palpable. But honestly, I'm done with him. He wasn't always this reckless or stupid. Maybe I was wrong, but the guy I'm dealing with now is a complete mess. Thanks to you all who made me see that. His greed and lack of financial knowledge are his own doing, and I'm not about to bail him out. Lastly, thank you all who took the time to help me realize the massive blunder I was about to commit. You guys saved my finances and quite possibly my life. I'm grateful to all of you. Now I'm going to read the top comment on this update because it is exactly my thoughts as I was going through it, and I didn't want to take away from what they said. Wary Dragonfly says, wow, why am I feeling you're still not getting the truth from this guy? This has major gambling debt vibes to me. And I felt exactly the same, and what made me feel that way is that he's promising to pay the OP back, which he was doing in the first part of the story as well, which you pretty much know is not going to happen. If he's promising, he thinks he's got some magical way to turn this money around into something bigger, which clearly he's tried in some other way before. And it feels like if you gave him whatever amount of money, it'd be blown pretty quickly and then it'd be coming back to you once again. It's sad, with any kind of addiction. And I do wish them the best, and hopefully one day, sometimes it takes rock bottom, doesn't it? But they get help for themselves. But you can't force them to get that help. And I think you're doing the right thing at this particular moment in time. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Bereaved Triplet 0522 and says, am I the arsehole for not telling my coworker my brother was dead and catching her in a terrible lie? I, 22 female, am a triplet with 2 brothers. But one of my brothers passed away when we were 14. Whenever anyone new asks if I have siblings, I just say I'm a triplet with 2 brothers. I'm not trying to trauma dump when I'm doing small talk with someone I'm not very close to. From talking to people in grief support, I thought this was relatively common. I started working at a new job 3 months ago. I like my co-workers, but I still feel like an outsider to them. So when they asked how many siblings I have, I gave the above answer. No problems there. 1 week I didn't have my car, so my other triplet brother picked me up every day. My co-worker Kate saw him and thought he was cute and asked me to set them up. I said no because he has a girlfriend. She asked about my other brother and I just said he isn't available either. Not a lie, but I guess kind of a mission because he's deceased and not just in a relationship. A few weeks later I hear Kate talking shit about me to the other co-workers our age when I'm in the same lunchroom. She didn't believe that my other brother was unavailable because she saw that he's single on Insta. I have no clue what she's talking about because he never had an account. My best guess is that she assumed one of my male cousins, who shares our last name and is in pics with me and my brother, was actually the 3rd triplet. Who knows? I never engaged with the whispers because I hate confrontation. The day after that, some of my co-workers come up to me and ask what's wrong with me. I was super confused. Then they told me that my brother had sexual assault allegations against him in college, and the real reason I didn't set him up with Kate is because I knew he was dangerous, but still supported him. Apparently, Kate said she found all this out from someone who also went to my college. I'm still in the same town. I was shocked and just told him that was impossible because my brother died when he was 14. They didn't believe me and then called Kate over, and all three of them called me a liar. I showed them pictures of the funeral, pictures of us at his grave, my brother and I holding his picture at our graduations. They then all piled on me and called me a liar for not saying my brother was dead. But Kate made up a horrific allegation for no reason. They're all icing me out and whispers are going around the office. I don't know what they're saying, but no one seems to understand my side. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I talked about my brother the way I always have. The girls made me feel like I was such a horrible person and a liar who can't be trusted, and I don't understand. My family is all on my side, but they are all fiercely protective of me, and especially my deceased brother's memory, so it's biased. Am I the arsehole? I totally get where OP's coming from and the way OP talks about her brothers, and that she doesn't want in an introductory conversation want to say, oh, my brother died when he was 14 or whatever. I totally get that. And I would really consider reporting this to your workplace for that sort of like hostile work environment, because this isn't about you lying about your brother. This is about Kate lying about your brother who's passed away being an abuser. Fucking cheeky bastard. And that Kate person sounds like a real unhinged type of person. But Aromatic Mushroom 85 says, I would make a complaint with your manager/HR about Kate making false rumors about your family and forcing you to discuss your grief. Fucking hell, even if he wasn't deceased, may he rest in peace, I'd not want Kate anywhere near me or my family. It's completely up to you and your story to explain, but maybe next time you could word it different to, he's not available. But she's definitely crazy. Opie says, thank you for that. I work at a small private medical clinic, so we don't have any formal HR, but I'm hoping our admin manager will suffice. I'll see if I can think of any alternate wording that I could use if the question comes up again. Apple Blossom says, not the arsehole. Kate is pure scum. If you believe in ghosts, maybe your late brother will come down and haunt her for defaming him and making you so miserable. Go to your manager, explain the situation and let her know what she said about your late brother. That's defamation. What kind of person spreads vicious lies? And what happens if your brother had still been around and she told everybody that he assaulted somebody? There is a special place in hell for people like her. Medical Method says, not the arsehole. Kate is a drama llama that didn't get what she wanted, so she decided to create blatant lies in order to feel special. Talk to your manager about what is going on. Be sure to tell them that Kate asked you to set her up with your brothers and then created a hostile work environment when you refused to comply with her request. So OP came back in to update their post and says, my one and only update. Skip the next 3 paragraphs if you only want the update. I just want to address the way I talk about my brother since there are so many mixed opinions. I can never ever talk about my brother like he never existed. To me, that's so disrespectful to his memory. I think you won't understand unless you're in these shoes. If you are and speak about your loved one differently, that's fine. My brothers and I did everything together. We were born and raised as a set of 3. We wore matching outfits and went to the same schools. We immigrated to the US together. We celebrated every birthday and major milestone together. When he died, a part of me died too. I haven't enjoyed my birthday since, but instead of being happy I'm older, I just think about how he can't celebrate his own day. No life circumstances changed the fact that we were born as triplets. I could never say I only have one brother because to me, that's not true. My brother and parents speak the same way. A lot of people in my grief support group do too. No one has ever gotten upset at me and have been very understanding about it. However, people have been weird when I used to say he was dead up front, soon after his death. Which is why I switched in the first place. Which is why I was so stunned Kate blew up at me. But I think I might consider being more blunt. I guess someone's got to be mad or weird about it no matter how I say. Update. So, I was too chicken to talk in person to my administration manager right after this post and all of the help. I emailed her when I left for work Monday, and she was still there for another 2 hours. And to talk in person today before clinic started. Work was definitely weird, but I just avoided Kate and those girls and got help from other staff when needed. I talked early today to my manager after she read my email. Shout out to Mountain Girl 60 for her template. I used most of it and just added some more identifying stuff. She was horrified, apologized to me again and again and told me all 3 would be dealt with. It seems like she was most angry at Kate. She didn't guarantee exactly anything would happen because she still has to do an investigation and get everyone's side. I think they will definitely be punished some way. I don't know if that's getting fired or suspension or just scolded, but that made me happier. I think I should clarify my co-workers other than those 3 haven't been icing me out, just whispering because they know something happened between us. But I like them and they're very nice to me. I didn't talk to them about it since I took it up higher, but I hope they understand me. I'm not sure if I'm staying at this office, depends on what happens to the 3 girls in the next weeks, but I probably won't update again. I know a lot of people wanted me to take legal action, but I really don't want to rock the boat too much. I'm applying to medical school right now and hope to start in the fall of 2025. So I just want this behind me fast and not have any court stuff on my record for now. If it gets too bad, I'd rather just leave and enjoy my last year of freedom. That's pretty much all that happened. I wanted to thank you all so much for the kind words these past days. I was going through confusion and your comments made me angrier towards Kate and made me take action. You were sweet and helped me through a tough time. I think I'll be okay. I'm so glad that your workplace is taking this seriously and they were horrified by these people's actions, because I absolutely was as well, and you're doing nothing wrong in this scenario, and there's always people that's going to have different opinions. That's life, really. And I totally understand the way that you deal with things, and I think you just need to continue doing what you do, what you feel comfortable with. Sounds perfectly normal to me. I've had situations in the past few years where, you talk about what you're going through, death and stuff like that, and some people just really struggle to deal with it. And, I get that too. So whilst I'm pretty open about talking about death and my feelings on this channel, because I think this is part of the channel and it's quite important to be open about these things, and I quite enjoy it as well. I'm a bit more cautious in real life with certain people who may struggle with the talk of death and, it might kill the conversation off, which I don't blame them for at all either. Just one of those things in life, isn't it? Read the room kind of thing. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. In a couple of videos recently, I've been finishing off with some neighbor type drama. You know what I'm like. This one's from LV Meat and the Am I the Arsehole subreddit that says, "Am I the arsehole for stealing my neighbor's hose so they couldn't use it to steal my water? I just bought a new house that's on a well system, which is a first for me. The previous owner had not kept up with the system, so I had to buy a whole new one as soon as I moved in. Not cheap. I just installed a few days ago and I realized today that the pump is constantly running in the garage. I was looking around for where the water was going since I wasn't running any, and was horrified to discover that I could hear water running in the wall behind my toilet. Convinced there must be a leak, I shut off the water and called a plumber who informed me that I'm probably looking at well over 1K just to locate the leak, then more to fix it. As a last-ditch effort, I went outside to look at the other side of the wall, but I heard water through, and lo and behold, there's a hose running from a spigot on my house directly to my next-door neighbor's aerator system. I was honestly relieved that it's not a leak, but once that emotion passed, I was just shocked at the gall of this individual. I rang their doorbell, but they didn't answer, even though I know they are home. I just moved in, so we haven't met, but they had to know they'd get caught. I mowed my lawn 2 days ago and there was no hose, so they hooked it up today. I'm putting a lock on the spigot as soon as I'm off work today, but in the meantime, I didn't know how to prevent them from going back to the spigot, so I took the hose they were using. I'm not sure if I set myself up for a further issue by taking the hose, but I feel like they can't really ask me for the hose without admitting to their own theft, so they probably won't. Was taking the hose a bad idea? I really don't know what else I could have done since they didn't answer the door and talk to me about it. I could also call the police, but I think I might have lost that resource when I stole their hose. OP added an update straight after that said neighbor still didn't answer the door when I knocked. They have a Ring camera doorbell, so I'm pretty sure it's not coincidence that I haven't been able to get in touch. So I called the police. Essentially, my conversation with the cop boiled down to, you technically don't have evidence that he attached the hose, so I wouldn't recommend we get involved since you have to live right next door to the guy. I'll put it in my notes that you reported this, so if he does it again and you catch it on camera, you have a stronger case since you've already reported the behavior. I tossed the hose back up on my neighbor's front step. Undamaged, sorry to disappoint the lawnmower idea crowd, lol, and put a lock on the spigot. I live in Florida where there's no spigot freezing, so my house doesn't have individual shutoff valves. To answer the question from people on why I didn't just shut off the water supply to that one spigot, I've been installing a camera directly above the spigot as well, just in case they're feeling extra motivated. But the hose is no longer on their doorstep, so they at least know that I know. To get water now, it'd have to trespass, damage my property, then steal my utilities, all on camera. I'll update from here as needed if I do run into them, or make an entry for World's Dumbest Criminals. But until then, the situation seems pretty resolved. Absolute cheeky so-and-sos. I'm always like blown away. I know it's not super dramatic like we see in some other posts, but the thought of this person walking across to someone's house, attaching their hose to their taps and whatever, I just find that mind-blowing that someone's that fucking cheeky. And I'm not sure about the legalities, but I think I would have done the same as OP and just took that hose. I mean, if they was to call the police about that, you just turn around and say, well, I'm stealing their hose to stop them stealing my water. Which I know in this batshit crazy world probably won't be an excuse and you'll still get yourself in trouble, but still. And the fact that they never answer the door, they're just going to stay hidden in their house from now on. I'm just like, what? Anyway, what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. All I've got at the moment is images of that neighbor story where the person used the sprinklers to catch them, the Mrs. Bucket or Mrs. Bouquet, lady of the house speaking. That one. And I'll tell you what, at the end of this video, it'll pop up on screen, that video, if you want to go and watch that one. That was funny. Hang around for that. And anyway, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly, it absolutely means the world. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.